All right, so what I want to talk about first and foremost is the email course, because since we last talked about the email course, this has gone through some major iterations. So always on the lookout for good software and for software opportunities. We have found a CRM that we're going to integrate with what we do. In other words, it's not just like, oh, you can take this and white label it. It's like, this is malleable. So we can actually change up the dashboard, we can overlay our stuff on top of it, and we can absolutely integrate it to make a seamless CRM. So Kevin is not with us today. Kevin did something horrible to his back. He's been in and out of the doctor's office. Bless his socks. He's taken a couple of weeks and he is very laid up. We will talk in this course some about ARP Reach, because ARP Reach is still a really great self-hosted solution, but we're also going to talk about cloud hosting, and this software that I found is actually a cloud hosting solution. So the thing that we're actually going to
Well,
build.
and Sue, don't play down what you found. What you found is a platform with massive API integration, which is going to let Network Empire build a fully customized platform.
Exactly.
So the platform that's being put together, you can't get it anywhere else because it's fully integrated into the WebRing platform.
So picture this, if you will. So I have scoped out in my little 3% the vision for where we're going to go over the next 365 days. Okay, so some of it will be implemented before the end of this 8-week course. Other parts of it will be later on in the year. But in the end, what we're going to have is you're going to be able to create a blueprint inside of the brand new made over DWS, and you'll be able to specify that, like, let's say that you're doing a good sized site and you've got radically different products in each one of your silos. Let's say that you've got like an e-commerce site and you've got women's clothing and kids clothing and men's clothing, and so you want an opt-in on each one of those silos that's different. Right now, that this is a pain in the behind. What you have to do is you go into your CRM and you create. In some of them, you have to create 3 lists. In other words, in other ones, you create 1 list, but you put in different forms so that you've got different triggers. And regardless of how it goes, at the very least, you've got to create a form for each one of your silos. And then you have to go and you got to do something in your blog, like widgets on pages, and you put in your CRM form in the right widget on page and put the right widget on page in the right silo, and you got to keep all this straight, right? I tried to do this on a diet site, and it just was like, oh my goodness gracious. We had something like 20 silos, and I was so frustrated by the time I got to the 20th silo. It was like, just let me jump off of a tall building now. So what this is going to do, because we can completely integrate, and slow me down if I'm talking too fast, because we can completely integrate, what you're going to be able to do is say at the end of this, hey, this is the list I want to use, and I want to be able to track which silo or possibly even which category I want people are going to opt in on each thing. And when it creates the export for you, not only is it going to export your website blueprint to slurp into the Silo plugin, but it will also export all of your opt-ins, and your opt-ins will automatically proliferate all over your Silo categories. Okay, so that's one. Wait, I have notes. There's so many opportunities. So the other thing that really bugs me about cloud-based CRMs, right, is that there's terms of service. They don't want you to do things that they don't want you to do. And if you go outside, if they perceive that you've gone outside of their terms of service, they can cut you off, right? Like no warning, no nothing, they just cut you off. So this is going to back up. Yeah, I have notes, exactly. This is going to back your database up. You can set it to backup daily, you can set it to backup weekly, depending on how many opt-ins you've got. It can go right smack to your Dropbox, always safe, always secure, not losing anything. And And we're going to make this so that you can do agencies, so that you can actually have sub-accounts for your clients if you want to do that, because when we did the survey thing last week, we had about 50% of the people who said they either had clients or they wanted to be able to service clients. So we're going to make sure that that all works. So there's a bunch of other stuff, but those are the really big, like, super, like, don't forget to breathe. It's too late. I haven't been breathing since 6 o'clock this morning. I'm so excited. Those are the really huge things that I want to have come out. Now, the one thing that I haven't talked about yet, and this is perhaps the biggest pain point, is the module that we're currently working on, that we started working on for the lead gen site, is going to integrate into this as well. So what I want to actually have done by the end of this course, 8 weeks from now, is our very first iteration of PKMM, for those who've been around with us for a billion years, the perpetual keyword money machine. It's the feedback loop to the entire WebRing system. And so what it's going to do, you go in at the very beginning and you say, okay, I've got these keywords and I get this traffic off of these keywords, and I anticipate being able to get this many opt-ins, and I'm going to send paid traffic, and I'm going to get this many opt-ins off the paid traffic. So you're going to be able to break this down by 4 different avenues, either phone calls or paid ads or search traffic, or there was one more. Shoot, I know there's 4 quarters. I forgot the 4th one. And yes, you can use these things for your clients. Absolutely, Jillian. So you're going to be able to go in and estimate what your traffic and conversions are going to be based off of all of the data from all of our keyword tools, right? And then the cool thing about it is that it's going to actually monitor. We're going to integrate with analytics, and we're going to integrate with Clicky. We're going to integrate with analytics because it's so prolific, and Clicky because the data is just so much better. And then we're also going to integrate with your CRM. So we're going to be able to come back around and tell you, hey, you thought you were going to get this many opt-ins. Hey, you thought you were going to get this much search traffic. Hey, you thought you were going to get this much paid traffic. And this is the reality of how it's stacking up. So now you can take a look at what your estimates are. You can take a look at what reality is. And you can look at reality before things actually go way south. Thanks, George. George says he's not certain that I'm getting enough caffeine for my coffee. All right, so
Guys,
we're gonna.
she's under-caffeinated today. This is truly pure adrenaline and excitement, because this is huge.
So
Yeah, guys, I was sitting here quietly. I had to mute myself because I'm just chuckling. What's coming?
So we have a slide deck, and we're going to go through the ideas just a little bit more slowly in a second, but I had to get this off my chest. Now, let me bring out one thing that I don't think we got into the slide deck, and that is down here at the bottom. Right now, until the 30th of January, this course, which is going to give you access to what I'm currently calling, like, I made this name up like 5 seconds ago, so don't beat me, Killer Keyword Extreme, because this has all got all of the bells and whistles, right? You're going to get 2 months of that. It's really going to be upgraded right there at the end of this course, but I'll make sure that you guys get a period of time. Like, you know how I am. I'm generous with this stuff, right? I want you guys to play with the tool after you've got the knowledge. You need the knowledge to be able to really make use of what's coming in Killer Keywords Extreme. You're going to get 2 months of Killer Keywords Extreme. You're going to get 20% off of the CRM that we're going to integrate. You're going to get a 2-payment plan of this 50% discount. So for right now, through the end of this month, 2 payments of $247 each is going to get you the course, the software, and my adrenaline. I'm going to bottle it and send a complimentary bottle to everybody who subscribes. Well, maybe let's say the first 10 people. All right.
While you're taking a breath, can I just check and make sure everybody's hearing and seeing okay? Because we've got one person saying she's having problems. Everybody, if you can just give me a 1 in the chat box, if you can see everything in here. I'm not saying you have to say you can,
You guys see the sales page, right? Okay, good. You're not seeing the old crashed screen that I had up a little while ago. All right, good.
Pictures of cat or anything.
Okay, excellent. All right, so shall we go through the slide presentation now? A little bit slower pace, maybe?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. Let me bebop over here and just pull it up in presentation mode. That's the wrong one. Where did it go?
I think it's right beside the tab of the automated email profit generator breakthrough of the landing page.
Yeah, I wasn't going to hit that one. I was going to hit this one in presentation mode here. There we go. There we go. All right. So, opening the floodgate. Oh my gosh. Do you want to start, Mike?
Yeah, we can start. Guys, let's take a step back. Think about everything you've heard about email marketing, right? We've all heard for as long as we've been in the industry that there's money in the list. But guys, give me a 3 if you actually have an active list of at least 100 people. And give me a 7 if you don't have a list at all. So far I have 3 people that have given me 3s, and the rest is a wall of 7s.
That's really interesting.
There's my fourth 3. All right, guys, think about that. We have a good crowd here today, and only 4 people on the webinar actually have an active list. 5 people. So here's the thing. Let me talk to the guys that don't have a list yet, right? The things that I have found that hold people back on building their list are things like they don't know what to write about, they don't know when to write about it, they don't know how often they should send things out, they have absolutely no clue how to integrate email marketing with the rest of the marketing they're doing, so it ends up sitting out there all by itself. Matter of fact, a lot of people with lists, the list ends up being an island all by itself, and it's not really integrated with anything else either. It's just kind of there. For the guys that gave me a 3, for all you that gave me a 3, I got a handful of you. Tell me, give me a 1 if your email list is integrated in with your analytics and you can segment every aspect of it and can follow the life cycle of your clients.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
And give me a 9 if you cannot. Haven't gotten no up. There's 1. Okay, so we're going to talk about some of this stuff. Nick, no, that service does not allow you to do what we just mentioned. So here's the thing. For those that know how to get money out of the list, you don't necessarily know where the money's coming from or how you got it. For those that don't have a list, you can't figure out, how to get a list big enough to get money out of it. And for some of us, we'll send out emails and we'll sit there going, why won't they read the, okay. So that's what we fall into, right? It's just the email marketing ends up being an extremely stressful thing for a large majority of digital marketers. And when I say large majority, let's look at these stats.
Here's one of the fascinating things. If you don't have your list segmented, it's probable that you're not going to get the open rate that you should get, and you're not going to get the delivery rate that you should get. If you have your list segmented properly so that the emails are targeted, people open more, and the more opens you get, the more deliverability you get. There's a huge tie between deliverability and open rate. And not being able to track how somebody came into your list, not being able to track whether or not they're opening and whether or not they're engaging, like the more that I dig into this, the more it's just like the most pain. I was actually unaware of how poorly I was managing my list, and we've got a pretty good sized list and we've got a reasonable percentage of open rate, but I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh my gosh, I should be doing this so differently. But without software, it's almost impossible, and that's why I haven't breathed since 6 o'clock this
It's a
morning.
nightmare.
It is actually
It's a nightmare. You can't get the data you want. You're always scratching instead of just looking at what you need to think about.
Exactly.
Well, and you know, we're really focusing heavily on the email aspect of this because of the email marketing course, and the platform is built around the CRM and all that is built around being able to email and integrate email marketing seamlessly into the rest of your business, from lead generation to customer tracking and all that. But with as robust as this system is, we actually have a cross-channel platform tracking system.
Yes.
It is cross-channel. Jazz was just mentioning that they like playing with SMS. This system has an SMS module.
Yeah.
We haven't dove into it yet because there's just so much we can do with this.
Well, could I speak here for a second?
Yeah.
Sure.
Essentially, what we're going to be able to do for you guys is when we're running the system, if you need to send SMSs, we just connect it through to Zapier. We're just going to connect and push through APIs. But your data is going to get a feedback loop always back to your dashboard. So as you look at your business, from the keyword right down to the person, you can actually start seeing the path they followed. So they came through this part of your silo architecture. It took them this long to actually join. It took them so long to actually buy a product. That's essentially where we're going with this all. And it's the whole digital. It's looking at things from a channel point of view rather than email or SMS. Every single thing that you set up that creates communication becomes a channel in your business, and it's tracked and measured now, which is awesome.
Not only that, but there's the option to be able to find out more about the people that are on your list. In other words,
yeah,
this system will go out and suss out the social properties of the people on your list and update your records for you. So that takes the value of your list from being like maybe a $10 or $15 per person value up to around $25 to $50 value per person.
But yeah, and what it's doing is it's not just updating the list with that information. It segments each person in the list into a CRM. So you have a client resource management system to where you're pulling them in as leads and prospects, and then you can move them over into clients. But you have all their contact information because it's pulling the social data.
That's awesome. You can get to see who you're dealing with. You
Yep.
can see a face. So it becomes very, very, like if you look at your market personalities that you're dealing with, all of a sudden your audience becomes alive, and you're going to think totally different about what you say or how you communicate with these people when you can actually visualize and see who they are.
Exactly. And so the combination of the course, because you know the way that we teach everything is holistic anyway, so the combination of what we're going to teach in the course and what you're going to be able to do with the software is going to dovetail together, and it's going to make it easier for you to be able to stand out in the email box. It's going to make it easier for you to be able to get opens. It's going to make it easier for you to be able to get deliverability. It's going to make it brain dead simple for you to be able to see the insights. We've got some graphics here toward the back that we'll get to in a second. What else do we have? New software. Imagine. So this thing has got one of the most beautiful drag and drop email template builders I have ever seen.
It's not beautiful, it's sexy.
Oh my gosh, it's just, it's a dream come true. If you have ever struggled with a Weber's template builder, Oh
Dun,
my
dun,
gosh.
Have you ever
dun.
been given a template and say, "Hey, Mike, make this work in the email platform," and Mike goes, "Ah, CSS."
6 hours later.
6 years later.
Exactly.
Yeah, mobile friendly. Here's one of the ones I like. That it uses the data from the analytics and everything to where you can actually segment your list and send out all kinds of crazy stuff. Um, and so we just talked about this a little while ago that you mentioned it's a year-long process to get everything rolled out, but one of the things down the road that's going to be rolled out is you're already talking with the programmers about integrating the analytics directly back into the silos for the contact forms and subscription forms, to where you're not just tracking on the site, you're tracking the individual silos, which makes this fall directly into the WebRing platform.
Right, and I want to have the tracking ready to go in 8 weeks. Like by the end of this course, we're going to have the first version of that tracking and the whole, like within the next 2 weeks, you're going to have the estimation and the ROI calculation screen, and then I'm just going to give him time. It should only take 2-3 more weeks, but I'm going to say that it's going to take a total of 8 weeks. So by the time the course is over, you're going to be able to get the feedback aspect of that as well. So I'm just like, okay, I have to stop talking now and breathe.
So we do have a question there real quick.
Yeah.
Jazz is asking, is this system going to be similar to like HiRise and from 37 Signals? I've used HiRise. This system is so far beyond what HiRise does, it's insane. Now, to be more specific about what Jazz is asking is the communication threadable in this to where you can have a thread per client? From what I've seen, yes. Now, the CRM has an add-on that embeds it directly into your Gmail account. So like I use I use Google Apps for Business, so my business email account is inside the Gmail platform, right? Which means the CRM is fully integrated into my platform. I have their full contact information. When I start to write an email, on the right-hand side, I have all their social profiles, their interests, and all that, and I can see the whole threaded conversation of all the contacts of all the times I've talked with them. So, Jess, to answer that, yes, it has that integration. I don't know how deep it is because I've not actually dove down the rabbit hole to find the bottom. I haven't found the bottom yet.
I don't have a problem telling you guys what it is. It's ActiveCampaign is what we're going to marry with.
Yeah.
So you guys, if you're not familiar with ActiveCampaign, you can go out and check it out and look at all of everything that it does. They've got other software out there that integrates with that they're working on, and like the whole suite is just tripping amazing. But
it's the only cost-effective platform that I have ever found that can compete with the cross-channel platform from Adobe.
Yeah, absolutely. But what we're looking at doing is not only marrying it with the stuff that I talked about, with the blueprints and stuff like that, but we're looking at actually integrating Segment. If you guys know what that is, Segment allows you to push and pull information from pretty much anywhere, and that'll allow you to actually and I like, it's so early on, I can't say exactly what this is going to look like yet, but Segment has the potential to allow us to integrate with whatever, what's the word that I want? Whatever sales software you're using. Yeah, no, not that Segment. Yeah, you guys can look it up. Anyway, more on that as we get further down the line here. Scott and I went off on some serious tangents yesterday. I'm not excited. I know you guys can tell. I'm not the least bit excited. All right, so you got personalized targeting triggers.
Now, let me interrupt real quick. Guys, let me clarify this though. ActiveCampaign is the platform. What ActiveCampaign does is they have a full API to where you can take their platform and then build your own platform on top of what they have. So what we're doing is we're integrating the network empire stuff back into that system using their API to where we're going to have a platform that integrates the entire WebRing platform and the whole holistic WebRing system that we teach. We're using ActiveCampaign to bring it all together. It becomes the Velcro for all this stuff.
Exactly.
Is that a good analogy?
Yeah, it's like the cog that's going to sit in the middle, and then
Yeah.
everything that we've got is going to spin around that and give you a really solid foundation for your entire digital marketing.
And lots of automation. Yay!
Yes.
Tons. I love it.
I want to be clear, guys. You don't run out and get ActiveCampaign. You can't get the features that we're talking about, the custom features. We're going to be using, it's going to be our platform, but you have to get it through us to get all the add-ons. Now, you know, ActiveCampaign has all the APIs, everything that we're talking about, but not all the pieces that we're going to customize. So
exactly. Plus, we're going to give you a discount. For the guys that sign up for this course between here and the 30th, you're going to get a 20% discount, which is going to beat the pants off of any kind of a deal that you can get through ActiveCampaign anyway. So best price plus all of the stuff, all of the ability to glue on everything else and have it all come together like Killer Keywords Extreme. So the cost of the course is between here and the end of this month is $500, 2 monthly payments. The CRM is going to be on top of that because I can't include the CRM. I don't know if you guys have got 100 users, or I saw on the list we've got some people with some pretty big lists out there, so I can't, that's going to be whatever it is that you want to get. The CRM starts at $9 before the discount. So custom lifecycle tracking, personal targeting and triggers, integrated CRM that pulls social detail, social process mapping and lead scoring. Okay, here's...
And that right there, though, lead scoring
and
sales process mapping is huge.
Oh, yeah. I love this.
Yeah. So...
Hey, don't go back.
So how many of y'all know what lead scoring is? Give me a 1 if you know what it is. Give me a 7 if you have no clue.
Oh, well, let me just tell you. It's going to, you put in certain pieces of information about your lead, okay, let's say you've got 3 leads. One of them wants a few pages on their website updated. One of them wants a maps listing, and one of them wants a blueprint. Okay, so one of them is worth a couple $100, one of them's worth maybe $500 recurring, and the other one's worth $7,000 with a couple $1,000 recurring, right? So you put that information in. You don't have to worry about the dollar figures because you put that in before, and it's going to come back and it prioritizes who you should talk to by dollar value, right? It's going to say, hey, this person is hot and big money, and this person is small money and cold, and it goes like that everywhere in between. So there's no more oh shoot, I let the big fish go because I was fiddling around with, my cards were in the wrong order, and oh my gosh, and it organizes everything for you. And the process mapping, you can literally just drag and drop the process that you want, and it automates the whole thing. It's a thing of beauty. Can I get to the screen I really want to talk about now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I love this
proceed.
So this is a mock-up of the screen that's going to be ready in a couple weeks. This is one out of 5 different tabs. So this particular one is the lead gen ROI. This is actually the paid lead gen ROI screen. So this is the idea that you're spending money on AdWords campaigns or something along these lines. So you've got the keyword over here, you've got the search volume. Inside, it already knows what Google says the click-through rate on the ads are going to be, and so it takes a look at you have to put in some business rules, and then it calculates all of the rest of this for you, okay? So let me just point out the really interesting bits. Under opt-ins, you get somebody to opt in, and then they got to confirm, and if the length of the buying cycle is long, then probably email is going to work better because you get more of an opportunity to actually convert them to your thought process. So you can, part of the business rule is, how much of this are you going to close? And so then it calculates what your opt-in sales are going to be, and it calculates what your profit just on the opt-ins are going to be. It does the same kind of thing for phone leads. How many of them are going to call? What's the percentage going to be? How many sales are you actually going to make? This is the profit. Buy button, they're not going to talk to you on the phone. They're not going to opt in. They're just going to press a buy button. This is what your profit is going to be. And then if you've got LTVs, you're doing side sales and upsells because they're on your email list, right? Because this whole thing is about emails and opt-ins. They're on your email list. You're going to side sell them and upsell them, so your LTV is going to be more than probably the original purchase price was. I mean, if they buy a motorcycle, you got to get, it's got to bling, right? So in the very end,
it's the helmets, the pads, the gear,
exactly.
jackets.
So at the very end, this one person who came in at $4,000 ends up spending $20,000 with you. So at the very end, this is telling you what everything is. Actually, the very end is down here at the bottom. We don't have that here. This is just a particular line item. And so you can see that for every single keyword. So we've got that. This is just for paid advertising. So we've got it for all of the other ways that you can drive traffic too. We've got search and retargeting and all of the other, they're all on different tabs, but you can see everything. And then, because this is like data overload, this is not something that you want to show a client like right up front. So we're going to have a really nice, really simple, really easy to grok overview where you can see no keywords, no specifics. It's just like out of pay-per-click, these are the sales, these are the conversions, this is what the profit's going to be, this is how many months it's going to take for you to recoup your initial investment. Your initial investment, so let's talk about that for a minute. If you're going to create a funnel and drive people through that funnel, and that includes autoresponders that have got 7 to 12 to 15 emails in the autoresponder, that all costs money. It costs however much it costs. I can safely say that it's not as cheap as you might think it is, unless you've done several. So you calculate what your funnel cost is going to be, and you have to then figure that into, let's say that you're doing pay-per-click campaign, and you're making $1 off of everybody that you actually sell. So, your conversion percentage is X, and when you're done, you're making $1 off of that person. So that dollar for the first, I don't know, let's say 7,000 sales has to go to offsetting that funnel cost. So how many months is it going to actually take before you or your client sees an ROI? So you get all of this, right? You get the client overview. You also get a back office page where you get to see, if you're billing your client, you get to see how much money you're making, and you can deduct your office overhead as well as individual overhead. Like if you've got some kind of a call center going on and that requires so many phones and people in seats and whatever your cost is, each one of these avenues, they've got different costs associated with them. You get to see what your ROI is on each channel. And you don't have to offer channels that aren't going to be lucrative for you. And then he can look at that, your client can look at that and go, well, out of the couple of channels that you're offering me, this one's really great, but this one's really not worth the effort. So you can easily whittle it down to seeing exactly what are going to be the ways that are going to make you the most amount of money. And this is where I get really excited, because then what's coming out in about 8 weeks is the result of that. Okay, so this is the estimation. This is what you think it's going to be. This is where, and in 8 weeks, you're going to see where the rubber actually meets the road. You're going to see how many people are actually hitting your website, how many people are actually opting in, how many people are actually hitting the buy button.
And what's great about that, while Sue catches her breath, is when you're speaking to your clients, right, and you're watching the sales and the leads coming in and the conversions, and you can see that they're getting like a low score, like say 2 out of 10 calls, essentially they're converting. You can quickly assess this and let your client know that there's a problem on the people actually selling the product on the call, on the phones. And then they can go back into training and increase that, which means that the client's bottom line increases if they get their core sales up. The same goes on your side. You can very quickly see if your PPC is making you money. You can see if the retargeting is actually making you money. It gives you almost like a pulse of what's actually happening with your campaign. And when you come to the technical side of things, you can also see we have to scale. So if your rankings aren't performing, you can turn other things on the side, like the paid traffic, to start pushing more traffic into your site that's relevant. So it opens everything up very, very nicely, and from that, you can start really thinking creatively of how to actually address and attack the market.
Yeah, this really is the platform for sales and marketing that I've been wanting for years. I would already be retired if I had this platform when I started.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just that simple. I mean, I've had a list in the past that when I was doing coaching and stuff into the entertainment industry, I had a list. We had about 350 people on that list, and I called that list my personal ATM machine, right? And so, like, it was getting close to Christmas, and I wanted to do something fun where Julie and I could take off for a weekend. And I just put together a real quick thing, sent out an email, and made money. So here's the thing, though. I only did that once in a while. If I had the ability to segment and track and split them up and put them into a CRM and see who bought what, when they bought, what they looked at, when they looked at it, holy cow.
Right?
You squeeze them for every penny they got. Roll them over and relieve them of their coin purse. Can y'all guess who the marketer and sales guy is in the group?
All right, so I have
guys,
not,
I'm seeing everybody talking in the chat, and guys, yeah, this is the platform I would want for me. And Liz just messaged me in Slack and said, "Do we have access yet?" Because Liz is like, "We're putting everything on this. Just rock and roll." She's like, "Forget selling anything else. We're going to go sell this."
Let me just correct the thing here. This platform's for me, actually.